Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the Divine Brothers podcast meeting once again for that weekly dose of the divinity. As we were getting started here, we were talking about an interesting phenomenon, how people can behave differently when there's an electronic device between them and another person versus actually being there face to face. I always prefer face to face. Always. My entire life, student needs to do something. Let's talk. Got some kind of technical issue. I'll go to the bank. I'll talk to the banker. I want to talk to a human being. But the second things get digital, I don't know, man. People get a little bit of attitude. Attitude they would not have if they were looking at me in the eye, you know? You know what I'm saying, Chase?
Did it I got to work with recruiters for these jobs, and there's so many companies. I'm working with like three or four. Most of them have been super cool. They've been women. They've all been women, and it gets a little bit like, why do you want this? Let me tell you exactly who I was. I was just like, I'm just me. And there's a rapport. And I don't bullshit them. I'm like, this is what I'm looking for. It's quite nice. They give me good offers. This dude, I talked to him on the phone. He was super nice, and we had a negotiation coming up. And I was like, yeah, man, look, I really want to work with this child. I'm like trying to be like, I know we got to negotiate, but let's be cool. Like, let me tell you why I'm really here. I don't want to bullshit. I thought we were on the same page immediately when I get his email. It is just this, it's just disgusting. It's like it's
Mm.
way under what they told me in writing. And he's unbelievably arbitrage. He's like, no, that's it. Nothing more. No. And then I'm like, no. And he's like, okay, let me check. And I'm like, dude, it's a horrible, he's a horrible little individual. I hate that, man. It's tragic because I gave him branch, Dean. I gave him the fucking branch and he spit in my face. Mm.
Yeah, and I don't understand like how people don't recognize how I mean maybe he thinks he's being like a big time deal maker, he's a little Trump, or something like that. But I don't know, man. Rapport is so important. I remember a long time ago in college we were learning about like bedside manner in the psychology class or whatever, and they said that most malpractice for doctors just comes from shitty bedside manner,
Oh yeah.
you know? Yeah, it has nothing to like if it's a nice doctor and they fuck up your surgery, they're like, "Ugh, I mean, I
Th-
like the guy,
Dean, did you
but
know
if you
this?
have a shitty attitude, they'll sue you.
They did a study. You know what it is between the ones that get sued and don't?
What?
2 to 3 minutes. There's 2 to 3 minutes. Like, hey, how's your dog, man? Hey, I saw your daughter in the newspaper for fucking, basketball. Like, if you show like, oh, I like him. He asked about my. That's it. That's it.
Yep,
That's all it
yep.
takes.
I remember mom has had infinities for years. She's bought
It's a
infinity
cool
cars. That's
name.
just been her brand.
Yeah.
Used the same sales rep. And I remember I was a little boy when she met this sales rep, like for the first time, Sewell in Dallas. And anyways, we whatever. 4 years later, her lease is up. She goes, "Oh, I'll go look at Infinity again." And you know what? He comes in and he's Rebecca, hey, how's your son enjoying First Baptist Academy? I remember he was just going there.
That's
And
nice.
mom was like, "Oh, you remembered? Oh my God, you
Yeah.
remembered." And she used that same dude for 20 years,
He's
20 years until he retired.
well trained, fucking intelligent
Matters.
guy. Yeah.
Matters, man. These are the social games that people play. Unfortunately, I'd say, I don't know, 90% of you think it's that high, Chase? Like when it comes to the social rules of converse. I mean, I should really be asking Austin this since
But
you're the
say it
ultimate
again.
sales
90% of
star.
what? What is it?
What's the? I believe 90% of people are ignorant to the rules of social interaction.
Oh.
You know, like the idea of here's how to be pleasant with somebody. Here's how to maintain a relationship. Here's how to joke around, shoot this shit, be pleasant. What do you think?
I disagree that 90% are like, oblivious. I think they are a large chunk is unaware and lost in their own world.
Okay.
Therefore, they miss pivotal social cues that they can't afford to miss because they're just
Mm,
lost up here. There's a good chunk of the population just doesn't have the skill, but the majority of people do. They just choose not to use it.
right. Right. I don't know. Austin, where are you on the spectrum? Clearly half autistic, right?
Okay, what's wrong with that guy?
Me half autistic? I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's 50-50. I guess like there's one guy I interact with on a daily basis, and pretty much anything you say to him, you get like a negative response, and so I just don't talk to him anymore. I don't look at him. I don't say hello. I don't say good morning. But I think that's like a pivotal one. Like if someone you always have to match people's energy, I think. And if someone like says something positive to you, don't react in a negative manner and be critical right off the bat. Uh, but yeah, I'd say I mean most of the people I interact with on a daily basis are pretty good for the most part. I don't know, 90% is pretty high.
But that's not quite what I'm saying. I'm not saying about good interactions. I'm saying understanding how to maintain healthy social relationships, you know? Like, for example, I remember there used to be a game a long time ago called The Sims. It was this wonderful little game you could play on your computer, and you had to have friends to, like, get by in your job and stuff like that. And if you didn't talk to your friends like every couple days, the relationship would die. And a little message on the screen would come up and be like, your friendship with so and so is like a plant. And if you don't water and feed it, it will wither and die. And I was like, fuck, I guess that's kind of right because, all the friends I had back in high school, college, even, they're all gone. Like all those relationships just dissipated, became nothing. The only ones I ever kept in touch with were the gay dudes through the years.
Can I say, I got this really high functioning guy I talk to, and
Mm.
he's just he's moving on from a job, and he's like, yeah, I was writing 4 or 5 people about how grateful I am, and I wrote an email to the company. I was like, oh, he sent an email to everybody. He's like, hey, I've grown so much, blah blah blah. The top 5 people, he's like, yeah, I'm writing my hand notes to them. I'm like,
Yep.
hand notes,
Hmm.
damn. And at his
It makes a
wedding,
difference. I've done that many times. Yeah.
he hand noted every person that came, thanking them. Hand noted it.
That is, you're supposed to do that,
Ah,
Chase. That's
ah,
not unusual. You're supposed to do that at a wedding.
I just did my and personalize each one. He's like, man, I call on these people and they throw that back at me like, dude, you wrote me that letter. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh yeah, it means a lot to people. It's so brilliant. It's brilliant.
dude, it's not brilliant. This is what people
It's
should
brilliant that
know.
he actually
These
puts
are
in the
the
work. I
social
don't think
rules.
I could do that.
Oh, dude, no, 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 no. Like I have taken the time to write people notes,
Really?
students especially. Like, like at the end of senior year or something like that, I typically give a journal with a note and I'll get Wu Yin to draw something on the side of it or
Wow.
something like that. Yeah, it's a great gift, but you can tell like they're like, Mr. Conrad, thank you so much. But beyond that, I can't tell you how many times people have remembered that I wrote them something. Even on a birthday, like you don't think about this, but like cards, it's like I have many female friends who have boxes of every card they have ever received. You and me, Chase, we've talked
Yeah.
about this. Just toss that shit out. Like, thank you. And Chase looking for the money inside, that sort of thing. But, there's this idea that keepsakes matter. People like looking at the memories of the past. And although they got Instagram and Facebook and all that shit, there's something about a handwritten letter that just I don't know. It radiates an energy that people like to touch and read.
What I want in this day and age now where social interactions have plummeted, personal
Mm.
interactions have plummeted. Eat that skill set has fallen off a cliff. People are
Yep.
like desperate for it. If you give them a handwritten note, you very well could have reset your path in life. It could be that
Yep.
simple. Yeah.
Yep. I think appreciation is something that people are always longing for.
Yes.
They just want to be appreciated. I think that there's so little vocalization of appreciation. Like, and not the like, hey, you're doing a good job. Nice job, buddy. That sort of like totally bullshit sort of thing. I mean, like, heartfelt. You took the time. You put in a little effort into your compliment. I think people crave that shit.
Yeah. I do too.
You're not gonna
I
give me
think
anything. Sorry.
there's a lot of people. If I ever get a letter from them, I'd be highly confused, and I would think like, is this person like are they making a joke? Are they trying to manipulate me? Because I've never received a handwritten letter of appreciation from anybody, and there's certain people I wouldn't even accept it. Like if Chase ever like took me aside. We met up one day. And he's like, "Hey, man, I wrote this letter of my appreciation. I just want to express how much you mean to me." And I read it, and it's like, I'm like, "Are you dying, Chase? Like, why would you write this to me?"
Well, now look,
Can't hand
relationships
somebody
and
that.
family mean very little to us. Everybody we know. So, but like a strategic relationship, I could see that having some significance, like for positioning in life or some shit like that. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I don't know, Chase. I can think of many family letters that meant a lot to, our grandmother wrote us letters for years. All our grandchildren wrote us letters through the years. Mom's written me letters.
I don't
Those were
remember
heartfelt.
getting letters. I don't remember. Maybe that
Oh, I
was
remember.
you getting those letters.
You probably just didn't read them, man. Like,
Uh,
dude, me and mom's, that was my dad's mom, right? We read the entire Little House on the Prairie book series together. She literally read them along with me and wrote about them through when I was in like third, fourth grade and stuff like that. Yeah.
no.
Those are very nice little minutes. I didn't really think of much of it at the time, but looking back, I was like, damn, that was a very sweet thing to do. I'm glad she did that. She was being a teacher.
I remember playing Monopoly with her, and when her back was turned, I cheated, and I felt really bad about it.
Oh my God, Chase, your grandmother
She,
who our father had made into a saint.
she still beat the bejesus out of me. She had hotels and
Oh,
everything. It was she felt bad about it
uh,
too. Oh, you don't have to pay. I'm like, no, no, I should probably
you
should.
don't have to pay.
I probably should pay you.
Austin, did you have any special rules for Monopoly? Yeah. Like what would have did you guys have like the free parking, get the bunch of money if you land on the free parking rule?
Oh yeah.
Uh, Not that I remember. I think we just played by the rule book. You know.
I'm curious about how the games ended in the Elrod household because when it was me and Chase playing, every game ended with somebody flipping the board over in anger. Like there's somebody was like fucking over, you've got all your properties, but somebody has put the hotel on boardwalk, and then you get that one unlucky loan of dice, then you have to start mortgaging properties and it's just all going downhill and you're losing it.
What
Oh my God, it's one of the worst feelings ever.
what was a great board game you guys really got into? I mean, different for everybody. Did you guys ever get into one hardcore?
I've talked about it before. There weren't a lot of board games in the Elrod household, but I played it with my grandfather. He was really the only one that like had an interest in that kind of thing. And we would play. We called it Chinese checkers. I don't know what people
Oh,
call
yeah,
it
yeah. It
elsewhere.
must have been big in Alabama, man. Chinese checkers, because we played that too.
Yeah, but that was the only one we really played consistently. And I guess it was made for 8 people, but it was usually or 6 or 8 people, but it was usually just me and him playing it.
Now, Austin, is this your mother's father or your dad's father?
Yeah, it's my mother's father.
I remember that guy. You know what I remember about that guy?
Flat top.
Flat top, flat top overalls.
Yeah.
Always in overalls. I was like, this is an Alabama man right here. That's like Hank Hill, Alabama edition, man. Like that
He
was
was a
intense.
Tennessee man, I believe, right?
Was he a Tennessee man? Oh shit.
I mean, he lived in Alabama and he had a farm in Tennessee.
Oh.
He worked here. He had a mattress company, and so he was like a small business owner. That's primarily what he did. But yeah, like a one piece like
Yep.
jumpsuit, like a work suit. Always wore that. I'm actually kind of surprised that you remember him so clearly because I think he
It,
passed away a little bit early. But
it's weird how certain people stick out in your mind. And I just remember like he was big too, right? He's a big dude, like tall and all that. Or I just remember him being a kid.
I think he was. Yeah, he was. Taller than like most L rods, definitely.
Yeah, I remember just I think his presence must have intimidated me. He looked like the sort of guy who would beat his kids. Maybe he mellowed out with age, who knows? But I was definitely looking at him like that looks like he looks like he's in the same family as Sling Blade. You know what I mean? Like there's some like deep
He's
southern
wearing
like
overalls, Dean. I like
overalls and flat
overalls.
top.
I
Yeah,
liked over. He really
it was
liked
a look.
Chris. He really liked Austin's brother. I don't know if he liked Austin. He liked the oldest son, Chris. Therefore, he always treated me pretty good too. I remember him. He was.
Why did he like Chris? What did he like about Chris? Huh?
I don't know. Chris liked him.
Huh.
He liked Chris. I don't. I didn't think about it that much. Yeah.
Do you
Okay.
remember having any conversations with him, Chase?
We were at his
Oh,
farm in
I think I
Tennessee.
remember one. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Go ahead.
don't know. It might be better than mine. I just remember at his farm in Tennessee, there was a dune buggy, and me
I
and
do. I think it's the same one. Yeah, yeah,
no, I don't. But me and Chris were. I wasn't driving. Chris wasn't. He said so. He's like, someone's like, "Don't crash the damn thing." You know, it's on your something really direct. I thought it was
You
funny.
don't remember. I do
I can't
remember.
remember.
I do remember.
What do
So
you
there's a
do?
dune buggy at this farm or whatever, and Chase is there with Chris and also resident Mexican at Huntsville, Alabama, Austin Dumpkin. And the man
Oh.
said, "Are you boys gonna have fun? Don't let the spick drive."
No. You got it wrong. Now it's come back. Me and Chris went out there and drove the dune buggy. No issues. Chase, you and Chris have fun. He took Austin out there and he pulled Chris aside. And, yeah, don't let the spick drive. He liked me.
Gotta love that Southern character,
A little bit of racism in your elders in the South. It's it's good. It's a proper
Hey,
Southern experience. Yeah.
he like I never really heard him talk like that. I heard stories like that. I just remember like going over to his house and watching like the Twilight Zone, sitting in front of the TV. He'd always be back in his chair with his coffee. He's a nice dude to me. Like I know maybe he had an imposing kind of look to him and so forth. He did look like a country dude in the flat top. That's all correct.
It's
But I never really saw him get out of hand or really say
Oh yeah, I'm
anything
sure it
out of
was. It was
pocket.
just the
But
opinion of like a 6-year-old boy seeing a giant walking around, like you get these ideas in your head.
it's interesting to
It's
think
very
of the white Southern like grandpa racist guy. I was thinking all my
mm.
black friends I had in the South playing football and whatnot. When I met their families, they always had a couple racist ones too. Like watching TV and they're like, fucking white people need to fucking wipe them out. I'm like, oh, sorry, not you, Chase. You know what I'm like? I'm like, oh, it's okay, man. But they all had one. They all have them too. It's just like every family's got them. It's just, it is what
It
it
is
is.
it was you had a surprisingly diverse friend group for Alabama Chase. There were blacks, there were Mexicans, there were white people. Like it was a good man. And the one thing I do remember about Duncan, about this Mexican guy, as a little boy observing this group of friends my brother was a part of, I clearly noticed that this guy, Duncan, was at the very bottom of the totem pole. He received more shit than anyone else. There was something about him. I don't know why. He just seemed to always be very clearly the lowest ranking member. I remember that. Yeah, he got a lot of made fun of.
It's interesting because I would go visit our mom in the summers. When I left, me and Chris were hanging out, and girl, Chris was like after some chick, and so was this Duncan guy. And
Mm.
when I left, I was like, man, Chris hates this guy. I never met the guy. I just knew Chris hated him. They were fighting over the same girl. I came back. I was like, what do you do? You guys hanging out? They became best buddies. So I thought you two hated each other. I just came back and they were friends. I was like, yeah, okay, all right,
Yeah, we
whatever.
got over the bit.
I guess the
Yeah.
girl picked somebody else. I can't remember, but yeah, they became
She,
buddies.
good choice.
oh man, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, what else is going on, guys? Nothing. Jesus, silence all around. Come on now. There's got to be something.
Austin, do you have a topic you want to bring up, pal?
Oh man, I haven't really been doing a ton lately. I started this book called Death from Astonishment by Andrew Gillimore. It's a fascinating read. I'm only like maybe a fourth of the way through it. It's like a ethnobotanical adventure following William S. Burroughs, who turned out to be one of the first dudes to ever encounter, one of the first Westerners to ever encounter ayahuasca. He went down there trying to like redeem himself after accidentally shooting his wife in the face with a pistol while attempting to shoot a glass.
Accidentally?
Accidentally. What?
Yeah, it happened in Mexico. So the dude was like a prolific drug user, drunk, and the way the narrative goes, he comes home one night and he's trying to convince his friend he's a good shot. So he gets his wife to put a glass on her head, and he ends up shooting her in the head.
That is his fault. Yes, I'm sure he was high on drugs too. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Anyway, so had heard other parts of the stories. Like, are you familiar with William S. Burroughs? He wrote Junkie and Naked Lunch and a few other pretty popular works.
No.
Okay,
No.
he was like a prolific child molester too. If you read his letters. He's hanging out with like young boy South American boys and stuff.
So
But
you're
anyway,
reading about a guy who's a known pedophile who shot his wife in the face.
who also happens to be one of the first Westerners because he was a very good writer, and again,
Yeah,
he's
so is
like
Bill Cosby. Yeah.
yeah, spiritually traumatized from killing his wife, and he went on like a journey into South America trying to find this elusive drug. It wasn't nobody knew at the time like what it really was or if it was actually real, but he was one of the first people to experience it. Uh, and then where I am at currently is well it came out like he delved into some CIA stuff and like some of the things that they would do. Like they would offer prisoners like heroin or a time off their sentence to be injected with these random drugs and narcotics to as part of the of MK Ultra. Like it's a fascinating book. I don't want to get into like every detail, but it's like it's the development of the discovery and proliferation of dimethyltryptamine by like scientists and cultural figures and all this stuff. So pretty
Cool, cool.
fascinating. Yeah, but that's the only interesting thing that's happened to me lately.
What a
You
trippy
know,
choice. Trippy choice, man.
Yeah.
it's an Austin choice. Definitely
Yeah.
an Austin choice. I got a question for you guys, right? Speaking of hardcore drugs, yeah. I'm coming back to America in China in Chinese New Year, and I think it's a good time for a trip. It's been a long, like I haven't gone tripping for a long time, you know. How do you feel about environments for tripping? Yeah, I've actually been in situations where I've tripped in places where I would like in foreign countries and places where you're not comfortable and where there's no hotel to go back to. That's always a fun little situation to be in. But you know what I was thinking about, Chase? I was thinking about a trip in Oneonta. Yeah. Like, what do you think about doing it out there on the farm, man? I was thinking it could be really cool, but at the same time, it might be saturated with our uncle's energy, which might make it kind of weird and strange. What do you think about that? Yeah.
I think if you can get him out of there for a period of time and do it, there's
Yes,
I
I've
think
already determined I'm going to call him because Vic's not going to do it. So I will call him. Okay.
I think you might get some effects like that in the house. I think once you're on a porch, I think
Outside. Yeah.
it goes away real fast. Yeah.
You'd be outside, right? Austin, would you want a trip with me, man? Hmm.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Let's do it, man. Bring Edwin. We'll start the orgy. We'll make sure everything is ready. All right. It's going to be great. Do it right there. Trip, sex in our grandparents' house. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait, man. It's going to be a trip of a lifetime.
Dean, how could you say such horrible things? But I'm
Horrible.
down.
Just want to express my love. That's all. Oh,
That's
I'm
that's not
glad you're
how
down. And invite
I
Bobby
express
too. He'll get
love.
to join too. If you
You
take
know
enough
what?
drugs, anybody. Okay.
You know what
You
you guys
know.
should do? You guys should fucking trip out there on the farm and fish. I wonder what that would be like. Just fishing, fucking tripping balls.
You might like get crazy empathy for the fish and just be like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry."
Read the
You
fish's
know,
mind. What if it's like an evil fish?
uh,
Yeah, we gotta
uh,
get him. Gotta put him down.
I was thinking about that. Yeah, like, dude, I think Oneonta might be a great place because it would be safe. You could chill there. You could say like prepare beforehand. You got all your snacks and good stuff like that. Get some good music going
What?
and stuff. And I think
'Cause
it'd be a great spot. I do.
we did DMT at that house in Hawaii, and my buddy Bruce did it by the fire pit out back.
He
And
was seeing shit.
he was like,
Yeah.
dude, there's shit in the trees. There is a man and there is a woman. And they are watching. I was like, you gotta fucking
Dude, actually, Austin,
shit.
did you hear Chase talk about like his DMT trip? Did you hear that?
I don't believe so. I'd love to hear it though.
Now, Chase, this is interesting because I actually think this is parallel to the book we're reading. Chase had like some. Now, I'm going to say my version, and then Chase will correct me as always.
It's vague now. It's
Uh,
not clear, but we recorded it, so I can listen.
he saw like kind of Indian sort of like god-like people, and they came and they started hitting points in his body, like doing weird like pow, 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 like chakra points or some shit like that. And they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna heal you, man." You remember this? Like they were floating over you and like hitting points in your back, helping you heal. Does this sound familiar?
There was a lot of stages to that trip. I definitely went through a place where I hovered above and Buddhas. I met tons of Buddhas. They knew me, I knew them, and But at the end,
Mm.
I was on a table and there was an entity, which I felt it was, again, some type of spiritual Buddha. I couldn't see it, but I could see the outline. And he was like sewing. And I just had back surgery and I could feel the tingling on my back, but it was all for healing me. He was healing me, man. And I was
Mhm.
just like, wow, that's fucking powerful, man. Powerful shit. That is the most powerful goddamn drug I've ever taken in my life. You were gone. Immediately, it's like, yep, I'm not in control. No point to even
DMT,
try.
next level, man. Next
Man,
level.
it was
Yeah, I was
terrifying and beautiful all in 1 second. It's crazy.
You see, shit like that makes me think about the subtle body. You know, like I do. Maybe I'm just finally joining the cult. I don't know, but I do feel like there is a whole layer of health in terms of spiritual energy that has to be dealt with things beyond the physical world. You know, like I don't know. I personally believe there was a healing that happened during your trip. I think there was a real healing. And, I don't think it's bullshit. I don't think you were just using your imagination, man. I think that they were interacting with something. Do you buy that or nah, you were just, off your rocker?
100%. There's no doubt in my mind. It was actual
Yeah.
healing and those were actual beings. So, yeah.
Mm, yeah. I
Is it?
wonder about this energy and how. Go ahead, Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very convincing. One of the points that came out early in the narrative that was part of the very early cultural studies of ayahuasca and snuffs and so forth that later were found to contain DMT and harmalines was the experience of little people was something that was universally talked about by these tribesmen. And what was really fascinating to a lot of people when they finally isolated DMT, they finally figured out what was the active ingredient, and then people started using it. Is that people were using these kind of terms to talk about it, and like the tribesmen would talk about varieties of entities that they would come into contact with, from the jovial to the really scary to the insectoid. Like, so there's like definitive classes, and when people started doing it in the West, they weren't doing the snuffs and so forth, but they're in the early days they were like injecting a pure DMT, or smoking it. All these entities came back to the foreground, and people were encountering these things that had been described and by anthropologists talking to these people are convincing. And a lot of the time that they're doing the same thing. Like you said, Dean, they're healing people, they're protecting people, and they're taking the state, like they're basically spiritual guides and initiators into like the otherworldly layer of reality. And like that's very convincing to make an argument that there really is something to it. It's not just a mere hallucination. You're really interacting with things that are out there in some very substantial way.
Yeah, but Austin, are you talking about like psychological healing or are you talking about physical healing or both?
Uh, That's a good question. He wasn't super specific. I think
Hmm.
probably both, but we could say comfortably psychological healing.
See, Chase, in this book, there's this vase breathing thing, and I cannot tell you how much it physically affects me. Like when I do the vase breathing technique, I feel like my stomach is on fire with energy, you know, like to the point where it's not just me breathing, and I'm in my head or whatever. It's like a overwhelming physical sensation. And it seems clear to me that with meditation, you can learn to control parts of your body, And if that's the case, if you can physically activate parts of your body, who's to say you can't heal? Like I don't know. It just seems more and more probable to me that this is a whole different level of healing, you know?
I've never doubted it, man. Yeah. Seems like it's compelling evidence for you now. Hey, before I forget, go back to the point before. I was gonna say, because yeah, Oniana was great. Hawaii. You ever thought about doing like the ayahuasca shaman ceremony thing in Hawaii,
Sure.
like like at the proper place?
Oh, in Puna. Oh, I've heard about that place. They got the teepee. You go into the teepee
I've
and
heard good things. Like that nobody like they take care of you. They make sure that
the
it's like
one thing I've heard, do you know what's funny? I told John's dad about that.
who the
I
fuck
was
is John?
his parent. What's his name? Sorry, the guy who lives in Hawaii. His
Oh
parents.
yeah,
Remember I
yeah, yeah.
stayed.
Yeah, Bakers. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I told the baker's dad about. I always liked the dad, man. He was cool. But I told him about that. Fucking next week, he goes off and does it.
Really?
he was, yeah, he was like, "Yeah, I did it." I was like, "Yeah, man, awesome." They were such nice people. But the only thing that turns me off, I would totally do it if the opportunity was available. The only thing that turns me off is my understanding is when you take ayahuasca, you are going to vomit. You know,
Mm.
um, uh, and when I did DMT, I vomited white, like a white substance came out of me. I still remember that it was like an incredibly like almost a purifying vomit, if that makes sense. It was like I was purging something from my soul. So maybe that's part of the process, but I would totally do it, man. Yeah, wouldn't you?
If the timing was right, yes, I would do it. If
Let's
like,
start a new chapter, man. This
yeah,
could be the time.
if there's a shift, dude, if I got the Indian job and the fucking chief said, "Hey, come down to do ayahuasca," I'd be like, yes.
Dude, go to the sweat lodge, man.
Ah,
Yeah,
no, chase
it's the
me and
way.
you on the sacred mountain. I was like, oh, let's go.
Have a vision quest, man. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
That's
Damn.
right.
Apache style,
I guess that's what I romanticize in my head. If I took that job, maybe it'll be like that. Maybe, maybe.
Romanticizing. Yes, that's a classic Chase trait. But you know what? It all worked out. So I'm starting to buy more into the Chase philosophy now. Less doubt, more maybe he's got a point, So who knows? Maybe there is something waiting for you in the Apache desert, man.
I definitely think when I think of like Hawaiians, and then I think of, I've been thinking about this, like Native Americans versus Hawaiian. Like I romanticized Hawaii, but the natives
Yeah.
in Hawaii, they very much disappointed me on so many levels.
Mm.
And it's just, they do it to themselves.
I'll
They
tell
want to
you why.
blame everybody else, but it's horrible.
I'll tell
Horrible
you why,
system.
because they're not real Hawaiians. There are very few real Hawaiians. They're all Filipinos. They're all Filipinos and
No.
Japanese. Yes, I know this, man, because the really real Hawaiians are a very tiny, tiny minority. Those Filipinos and Japanese people have been there since the mid 19th century, you know, and they appropriated the culture.
They are a very mixed people. And yes, there's very few real ones left, but none of them have a tangible plan. And they're all broken. And I was like, oh my God. I hope the Native Americans are a little more organized. Like, I hope there's like just a remnants of something, some essence of spirituality still with them. Because the Hawaiians, it's pretty much,
We have
let's
it, Jay.
go.
We got the spirituality. Who cares about the Hawaiians? We have the spirituality. Austin brought it back to us, man. This is here's my plan. I'm gonna talk to Chris. I'm gonna get him out of this place. And you know what my goal is, Chase? I think it's time Vic trips. That's what I think. It's time. I almost got him to do it, Austin. I came this close. I had the acid. I was like, Vic. And he was like, should I take it? Should I take it? And he chickened out at the last fucking second.
Dude,
And
he's
I
not
can
gonna
tell
do
he,
it with a bunch of young gay men. There's no fucking way.
first of all, what do you know? First of all, he has, who cares about what? Am I going to try to molest my father?
Let me tell you, if I was
Is that
tripping
what he
for the
thinks going to
first
happen?
time, I would want, if someone was gonna be there, we better have an established relationship. I don't want to be around people I don't know. I don't.
Do I not have an established does Austin not know Vic? I mean, also we don't have to, I'm just saying that
Uh,
it'll be separate too. I could be sober. It could just be a Vic day where I just take care of Vic. You know what
that
I
is
mean?
how you should do it.
Okay. I think that is the one thing I could give my father. I can give him a trip.
Wait,
And
that's
that's
fine. I don't think it'd be a good idea bringing in people he hadn't seen in a long time. That's make it. No.
well, he's gonna look at Austin and be like, "There's a demon in you, man."
Yeah, he's tripping on LSD. He's gonna look at Austin a little differently. Trust me. Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
wouldn't even
I
give
don't.
him LSD. I think LSD lasts a really long time. Like, I prefer mushrooms. Every time I take mushrooms and after the fact, I go, that is such an incredibly healing substance. Like, I never
Yeah.
walk away from a mushroom trip feeling worse than I have. And to LSD's credit, I don't feel bad at it after LSD, but I don't feel the catharsis that I do from psilocybin. I don't know
Agreed.
how you guys feel
I'm
about that,
totally
though.
down for mushrooms, man. Yeah, It's so interesting how they're different. You know what I mean? Like I always say it's the feeling. Like to me, like you're exactly right. Mushrooms feel natural and they're very healing, but acid like seizes you. You know what I mean? Like it is you are in it and you are on the fucking journey, man. You're on the train, So And also when I was in college, acid was what was available. This is back in the Silk Road days. So we were getting them mailed to us in the mail. God, there was so much back in the day. But yeah, man, I think mushrooms would be the way to go. I think that mushrooms is a great first trip. That's the way to do it.
I I
Yeah.
I do think I think there's more control with LSD. It lasted a lot longer. It was much more visual and mental,
Mm,
but the shrooms are so healing and
mm.
unbelievably destructive. I mean I mean when they go bad,
Destructive.
that is just like, wow, this is darkness. But if you can learn from it and come out of it, it's the most healing. Like it is both extremes. You can
I'm
go either way.
surprised to hear. See, Austin Chase was my guru when it came to drugs. He introduced me to everything, like marijuana and tripping and all that sort of stuff. And I can remember there were two things Chase taught me with mushrooms that were very important. Number one, Triscuits. You know, if you're gonna take these things, take them with Triscuits. The Triscuits
Oh.
chewy may take away the bad taste. You know what I mean? Number two, though, stay positive. Yeah. Like just like there are many, I learned how to I could feel myself. I've been on so many trips. I know how to detect. I feel myself going south, redirect the energy, you know? I remember you showing me that one of the first times I ever tripped, 17 years old, I was starting to go south and Chase put on King of the Hill, and I started watching a little bit, and Hank calmed me down. He was a principled man, and he held on to his principles, and I was like, oh, okay, thank you, Hank Hill. Like that, here, you are the beacon I needed in this storm.
Mm.
So it was
My
good advice, man.
go-to when fucking tripped at the beach with your brothers and everybody was they were I don't know what they were doing. It was not comfortable. You were in the back with Chris drawing something, but I put on Bob
I had a
Ross.
great time with Chris. Me and Chris were drawing in the
Dude,
back.
I
I
put
wish I
on
still
Bob
had that
Ross
painting.
and everybody
Oh, man.
gravitated to that TV. It was like this is
Yeah,
where
man.
you're supposed to be. Watch Bob Ross. I say I tripped one times at the beach in the dune. Remember those dunes way, way down? If
Deer
you walk,
Park. Yeah, man.
yes, I
Yeah,
walked
yeah.
and tripped alone. And about
Nice.
not halfway through, about a quarter in, I was like, this was a mistake. I'm hot, thirsty.
Mhm.
I have to get back to the house. And I'm tripping ball. And every person I walked by on that beach, I saw their life. I saw who they were
Mm.
as a little kid growing up, like miserable men there with their wife. I remember this lesbian couple, this fat bitch and this skinny one. And I remember seeing them and they were just together because they were unbelievably confused. The fat bitch couldn't get anybody, neither the skinny bitch. So they just stuck together. And they were like, they weren't into each other, but they're holding It was awful. Like I wanted to fall to my knees and cry, but I realized I couldn't do that in front of these kids playing in the sand. So I made it home. And I remember
Yeah.
Garrett, Austin's brother was there. Garrett, he's like, "Are you fucking tripping?" And I just collapsed. And I was trying to explain it to him. And I just stopped.
Fat
I was like,
lesbian, fat skinny lesbian. Oh,
you know what? This is the other thing I'll never forget about your fucking piece of shit brother. I'm fucking tripping
I know the
balls.
story that's coming.
I'm
Yes.
tripping balls. I have the fucking walk of my life. I'm barely alive. I make it back to the house. I'm like, dude, please, can you just please just hang out with me? Can we watch like church on TV or something like that? He's like, nah, you're on your own. I was like, oh, thanks. Like I was like, dude, please help. Please. I'm scared. And he's like, nah, that's it. And he's like, oh, can you watch the dog? And him and his friend went to the store. I was like, what? That poor dog was terrified of me, hiding in the corner.
Oh,
I don't, but I was just like, bro, I needed you, and you asked me to watch the dog. It's fucked up. And the
dude, that's
fucked
cold
up
as
thing,
ice, man.
he will tell you, Chase, I was tripping on the beach on shrooms and it was going bad. And you sat with me the entire night and you kept me positive. He will tell you that as a true story. And then I
Didn't
did it.
return the
He's
favor.
did not return the phone. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
What
Mm.
a privilege to be there for somebody at their worst trials, to sit with them, and that's a privilege. And he gave that up, man. That's on him, dude. He should have been there for you.
Yeah. Your brother's a little short sighted at times.
He can be.
Yeah.
Mm,
Can
mm,
be.
Yeah.
mm, mm.
That
I
poor
think,
dog.
I th- listen, man, the Oni on a trip. I want to make this happen. I want to make this happen. I think it could be a good experiment. You know what I mean? It's been so long. It's been years since I've tripped. I feel like I need it. It's like pressing the reboot button on the soul. And if I could, I would do it every year. Just to get my head straight. But how circumstances are. So yeah, I want to make that happen, man. Only on a trip. Make it happen.
But Dean, I'd be very curious to see how you react now. Like after getting reasonably proficient at meditation, like it really changes the game because you're going into it with a whole new set of tools to use, and you can direct it much
Yeah.
easier, and being able to let go like fully, and
So
and that
have
yeah.
you done it? Have you tripped, especially with inner fire, man? Have you experimented?
Uh, I tend to go for like just the openness, like non-conceptual, non-engagement, like just letting it flow through me. I haven't really tried to
Okay.
practice any of the energy stuff. It feels too intense at the time. Like it would take things too far. But I'm kind of a bitch in that respect. Sometimes when you get there and you say I want to push the limits and you get to the edge and you're like, you know what? I think I'm okay.
Nah. Yeah, and I know I definitely know that feeling. There have been many times where I was sitting down high out of my mind on acid, and I like got a pen and paper before me, and I'm like, this is it. This is the creative moment. And then like the next day I look at the scribbles that I have, just like nonsense lines going everywhere, like weird letters that don't spell anything and stuff. And I was like, well, that led to nothing. Because focus is a motherfucker, man. But it would be interesting to achieve focus during a trip, like
What
real maintained attention. That could be
Mm.
very, very powerful.
what do you guys think of the DMT thing is entities for sure. And there's fuckers, I looked them online, like they go into it the intention of mapping it out. Like that to me is just, I don't know. I don't know how you could dedicate yourself to being um almost an academic in the DMT world. This is the entity. I tripped a little harder. These came up. This is how you get to here. It's like, I don't know. Because there people are trying to they're trying to map it out.
Well, because there are people who are cartographers, man. There's engineering brains out there and people who
Yeah,
are
the
slightly
engineering
on.
brain tripping. That's exactly what you're right. I don't think
Yeah.
they have the spiritual essence though. Like we get lost in that. I don't. They can justify the way out of it real quick.
Well, see that, but this is interesting because if there is a role, right? Like, it's like the Shakespeare line, every man plays a role and in his time he has many roles, blah, 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 whatever. What is our role, right? Because I think we all kind of, me and Chase, I think you and me are similar, but it might be a little different. Austin, I definitely think you have a distinct role. But when it comes to the exploration of either tripping realms or spiritual realms, what do you consider your role to be?
Yeah,
Mm.
Austin.
You understand the question?
Well, like, what are my intentions? I use it for healing a lot, but but I like that idea as a cartographer too. I think that's really fascinating, and you can tell
Hmm.
when I write about my meditation experiences, I try to be very clear and objective, and
Yeah.
in that mapping sense. Like, I don't want uh to extrapolate or make or extend it too far. I want to be as like precise as I can as like a roadmap for myself later, but also for other people. I feel myself and Chase kind of like said, well, there's a different perspective because I want to be I'm on the dry I'm like a drier person, and I have more emphasis on things like that. I'm not a poet in that concrete facts and to be very clear and precise and like a 1 2 3 kind of method. So that's like how my mind works with it. But the other part is like I said, like there's like a healing aspect of it too, where you kind of let go of the analytical stuff and you're not really trying to map it. You're just trying to like get as much out of it as possible.
Dink, can you rephrase the
Mm.
question again? What exactly did you ask?
So imagine that you have a role, like for example, the person who explores a DMT experience as a cartographer, where they're matching everything. Like here's what this was, here was this, and here's where you find this. Like if I take the question, I kind of see myself as a reveler, meaning that like I do want to get lost in the experience. It is the experience itself that I want. I don't care about like mapping it out or analyzing it. I care about the sensation, like getting completely. I think it's because I'm a very emotional, kind of sensitive person that like I want to get lost in the feeling and really feel the purity of it. So yeah, like a reveler, like that's the thing I really I think that that's what I do best in the spiritual realm, getting lost in the feeling.
Man, that's such a tough question. I'm definitely not a
Honest.
cartographer, but a reveler, yeah, it feels like it's another version of Chase in a different plane, in a different earth, in a different realm, a past life. It's so intimate to me, and it's so familiar. So it's just like to map this. I can't imagine trying to map it. I could not. I don't have the capacity to go into potential saying this is beyond Chase in my essence. What is humanity? What are we trying to see here? I'm so lost in my experience. I'm just like, oh my God, I was in this life and I lived like this and I feel this and I was a woman, I was a man. Like it's I can feel everything that I've been before. And yeah, a reveler, I guess I embrace it. I do not try to study it. I embrace it and just let it take me. Yeah.
I see you as kind of an explorer, but not somebody who's making maps. Somebody who's just like,
No,
well, let's see what this is. Let's look what this is. Let's come to
it's
this.
beautiful, man. It takes you, it's just like, holy shit, this world looked like this, lived here. It's fascinating.
Do you know what? That just reminded me. You have described Bruce, Chase's buddy, as an explorer in a past life, right?
Yeah, it, like to his detriment. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, we're
like
almost
died.
to the mountain. I'm like, yeah, we're out of food and rations. And
Quicksand takes him at the end. Ah, shit! I almost got there.
it's totally how he went out, man. But it's just like a little oblivious so much. It's like, oh, look, it's on the horizon, my bro. We're out of water. Like we need to
Yeah,
go back and get some. Like it's important.
there are tigers in these trees, man. Like nah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Nah, dude, I can fucking hear them. Like
I've had
very
a
scary.
dude. If oh, you know, what we need to get. I don't. You never did the machine that my buddy Bruce had. It's you lay underneath it. It's a dream catcher, but it's like a machine, and you lay underneath it, and it shows you. You close your eyes, and it hits you with these patterns in like a vibrational state, a hum.
Oh, sounds like Bruce. Yeah.
Sober. I've done it
Okay.
twice with it. You're gone. You are. It is. It is
You like sleeping,
if the
dreaming, or
tree,
what?
if the tripping, here's the line to trip, you're
Yeah.
dancing on it. And you're completely sober. You can just flip the switch on and off. It is unbelievable. It's fascinating. And I had visions on it. It gave me visions.
Oh,
Saw me and him in a past life, but like a more advanced society that like
I have
evolved
no memory of
inward.
this.
It
Oh,
was,
okay.
I've known that guy for a long time. It just
Yeah.
confirmed that I've ran across you before, not in this life. We have
Mm.
crossed paths many times, but if I'm gonna buy one, I forgot about that. I still want to buy one. It was that
Yeah,
heavy. You
you
don't
never
need
told
any
me about it.
drugs. You don't need any drugs.
Text him, ask him what it's called, and get
It's called
one.
a dream catcher, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, Dreamcatcher, I think of the Indian circle thing. You know what I
This
mean?
is the
So,
machine though, or something like something dream something. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I'll give it a try. Sure.
You need that,
It's
Noniana.
exciting.
You did that tripping. Oh my God.
I'm down, man. I think. Oh,
Yeah, it's been a little while for sure. But well, this Gilmore guy, he's setting up in a very serious way at like really academic places, long-term DMT sessions where they're giving it like drips of intravenous DMT, like you said, to very
whoa.
specifically map the DMT territory because it happens so quickly and so dreamlike that when you smoke it or inject it, it passes by super fast. And he actually gives accounts in the text where he's with the people the first time they do it, they come back and they're like, I don't even know what happened, right? Like it happens so
Yeah.
quickly and it's so alien. And he came up with a really good idea that we're going to give people the opportunity to stay in these states during at peak breakthrough states for hours at a time to exactly be cartographers and come back and to try to prove the reality of these things. And I think we're at a fascinating forefront because like these things have been um, so like airy and imprecise for so long, and there's so many good writers that are trying to make spirituality, and I think we're kind of part of that. Like we're experimenters and we're objective, but we're doing really interesting things. We're meditating, we're taking
Here, man.
psychedelics, we're pushing the limits, but we're being really precise about it, and we're not deluded by theology or preconceived notions. Like we're really trying to get down to the fact of the matter, and a lot of these dudes are too. Like they're scientists, they're serious people that are interested in psychedelics and out of body states, and they really want to get to the bottom of the reality of these things. And like I like to think like in a very small way, I'm a part of that with the meditation and the out of body, the lucid dreaming stuff. And maybe you feel that way too. Like you're at a frontier that is really being studied and written down carefully for the first time in a very long time, outside of maybe like the Buddhists did it really well, but in a Western way that is like in a scientific, objective way that we can really say for sure, like you're talking about the energy body, what's really happening. And like that's a big part of what motivates me beyond merely like the enjoyment of the meditation. I am fascinated to see how these things are unfolding. And I gave the account in the meditation journal about that experience I had of like pure joy. Like that had never, and maybe it had happened, and these states are kind of subtle and they're kind of hard to remember after the fact. But it was like one of the most joyful states I've ever experienced on drugs, off drugs. I mean, it rivaled even really.
Are you
Well, it's fascinating to me because I was doing a reading about that I went from an individual that is generally kind of on the lower end of like emotional states to being probably higher than most people will ever get. But it's like I'm a kind of I'm not bipolar, but because I meditate and because I have depression, I fluctuate between lows and extreme highs, and it's just
mm,
like there's extremes in that respect. But it was fascinating because it was unexpected, and it just shows like meditation will surprise you. I did not
mm,
expect that to occur, but I wrote it down as clearly as I could. I mean, it was really hard to articulate, but I wrote how I achieved that state, and now going forward, I'm going to try my best to replicate it. And maybe it can't be replicated. Maybe it's like trying to catch lightning in a bottle, but it was incredible. And I don't know if that was a spiritual experience or if it was like purely neurological, but I'm glad to be like a part of this journey of discovery.
I read that lucid dreaming book by the Dr. LeBerg. He had people nights they were successful, nights they weren't, and it was like the direction they were laying. And a lot of like Dean's talking about only on a trip, and I'm like, I think location's vital, man. Yeah,
essential. Yeah,
if you have the opportunity, like, dude, doing ayahuasca with a chief, to me that could be life changing. Or tripping, at this beautiful scenic place with only the people you want to, like pivotal shifting, but certain places possess it, man. It's like it could be the way you lay, or it could be the spot that you're doing it in. It's vital. If you get the opportunity, you gotta seize it. You gotta fucking seize it, man.
totally. Yeah. Austin, it is interesting about the high of the meditation. We'll have to talk about that when we go to the book club. But I am curious about like this intravenous DMT.
Ooh.
That seems horrifying to me because I think it's good DMT is so short because hours in you may not come back. I think it was Terrence McKenna. I might have this wrong, but somebody talked about a heroic dose of mushrooms. Do you remember that? Like somebody was like a heroic dose, where like it is just oh, like double, triple what you're comfortable with. And I've always been a little scared of that, you know, like going so deep that you may not come back. So, see, that's the interesting thing about cartographers, right? Like these people are pretty brave. They're willing to go to the place where there is no map, where nobody's been before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I'm
in
willing to tip my toe in, but I don't know, man. The truly uncharted,
it's
it's scary.
if you're a what did you call yourself?
Reveler.
If you're a reveler, I think diving into the depths is that make you go psychotic in a second. If you're a mapper, a cartographer, like if you're an engineer, where it's just like socially retarded anyway, and your natural inclination is to see patterns connecting, depth is what you're craving. So I really think it's how you're built. Has to be how you're
It's
built.
interesting to say that. Because I think that the reveler, the whole point of the revelry is it's temporary. You dive in and you go back out. You know what I mean? Whereas the cartographer dives in and stays in,
Yeah,
you
they can
know?
sustain the depth longer. That's my point. They could
Well,
go
I don't
longer.
know. I think that I think it might be a good way to go crazy. You know, you spend too much time in a DMT like state. Can you imagine hours
Well,
in a DMT like
fucking
state? Like
engineers are already awkward. Yeah, it'll make them even more awkward. 100%.
maybe,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe. What do you think, Austin? I mean, do you think that there is danger here?
I thought about that because as I was listening to these descriptions, I was on a microdose of mushrooms, and maybe I took a little bit more than a microdose. So I was like really getting into it and thinking about what he was saying. And the hypothesis is kind of unsettling. Is that we live in a much wider uh, ecological system than we think we do. That includes like an infinite variety of like and entities and layers of reality that we have no access to. It's like, what do you do with that information? And for me, it's kind of an idea, and I think I have a taste of it through meditation and through out of body states. But what if you knew for sure that we live in this pocket universe surrounded by disincarnate insectoid reptilians, you know, like all this really profoundly weird stuff that's happening around you? Is a human being capable? Lovecraft said like it's good that we live on a placid island of ignorance because if you really knew what was happening around you, you'd go insane from the knowledge. And I think it's a real possibility for a lot of people. I think you think you're the center of the universe and you figure out like you're just one layer of an infinite many layers of reality that go extend forever in every direction. It's unsettling. And are you capable of saying, well, that's just how it is. Like I'm just gonna go about my life, or you're just gonna go, well, now I don't know what anything is anymore. Like
Okay.
it's
What, hey,
yeah.
See,
what
this comes
percent?
from my experience
What
with
do you, what,
hippies.
Austin, what do you think percentage of people trip that do shrooms or LSD? What's the percentage?
Oh, man, I think well, it's
I
probably
think
pretty
that's why
high.
they avoid it. I think they know it could be,
Got to
it's
be
too much.
15%. 15% of Americans.
Okay.
I'd say that.
15.
What do you
Well,
think, Austin?
yeah, so like kind of moderate doses give you self knowledge. You know, I think a lot of people generally don't want that. They don't want a deeper insight into themselves,
Yeah.
and a huge dose gives you like impersonal knowledge of like how the like maybe how the universe really is. And a lot of people really don't want that. They just want to be like, I don't care. Like most people don't care what's happening like on the other side of like the country. Like a
Mm.
lot of people don't want to know what's happening in another dimension that's run by bejeweled insectoids that when you go there they're handing you boxes of you know these hyperdimensional boxes like Leary he gave Tennessee Leary when he injected DMT in the book and he gave a description of it and it's like what do you do with that information? You come back and you're like, okay, there's insectoids in another dimension that really are interested that I understand the shape of
Oh,
hyperdimensional objects. Like, what do I do with that information? It's
well,
unsettling.
I think the surrounded by people who did crazy amounts of drugs, and all of them were fucking wacko, you know. But at the same time, you could have like a Huxley Doors of Perception kind of experience. You know what I mean? Where you're really able to analyze it at a fundamental level, you know, and bring it back to reality, you know. And like, see, it's interesting you talk about like the Lovecraftian lizard people, you know, Cthulhu sort of thing, right? Because I know what you mean. Like that's the fear. But to be honest with you, all of my tripping experiences never have gone there. There's never been a sense of unknown. As a matter of fact, it's almost the opposite. There's always a sense of like correctness. Like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. So I'm speaking personally and anecdotally, of course, but I think about the doors of perception and how beautifully Huxley was able to map things out in a coherent way that a sober audience could read. You know, so I don't think it has to always go that way, man. You know,
I always thought that Austin looked a little bit like Huxley.
a little
A
bit,
little
yeah,
bit.
If you had the right glasses, you need the right
Yeah, get the
glasses.
Hux. What are you doing? Get the Huxley glasses. It's totally a look you should rock if you could rock it.
Austin,
Absolutely.
I'm so glad Chase has brought this up. I've been wanting to bring this up since day one, man. The glasses. All right. Glasses make a man.
Hmm.
All right. And also, you know what? You should not bad without the glasses too. You should consider contacts, but you need the
Huxley glasses.
perfect pair of glasses. Glasses for you, man, could be like if you had the right pair of glasses, people would look at you and be like, ask that guy. He wears glasses. He knows the answer.
Mhm.
It could be. Look, see, even Chase, his IQ just went up about 10 points just because of those glasses, man. You know,
I could
they
say
help.
anything and people would consider it.
I'm
Consider
telling you, Austin,
it.
I want you to go to some chic glasses store in Birmingham
Whoa,
or
whoa. Do
whatever
you think it should be the
and
Huxley
find
look?
the right pair.
Like the
It could be.
circles
Got to be
looking?
right. It's
Yeah.
got to be right. Like you need to spend all day trying on hundreds of pairs until you find the one. And
That,
once you have it, you're set, man. That's your
so
look for life.
let me tell these glasses right here. You might not love them. I think they present decent enough. I went to the glasses hut when I got the prescription. I spent over an hour and a half and I walked out of
Yep.
there with nothing because I
Yep.
couldn't
That's what
make
you
up
need
my
to
mind. I couldn't do it. So
do.
I talked to this girl for a month. She was kind of hot. I thought she had good taste. And our first date, I brought her with me to the glasses place and she picked these out. I was like, I need a female that knows what looks good. I let her do
Mm.
it for me. It's an important decision, man. It's a super important decision. You either got it or you don't. I didn't have it.
Austin, I love you as your stepbrother. Yes,
Yeah, right.
not the one. I'm
Wow.
telling you, they're not the one. You got to take your time. Take weeks to search. Go everywhere until you find the one that speaks to you. This is critical stuff, man.
Well, you should ask him, how did he make the decision?
Okay, how did you make the decision?
I was at I went to Target and to get my eyes examined, and they had a very limited supply. And I was like, I didn't like any of the glasses. I was like, well, I guess I'll take these, and that's like how
Do you see? Do you see? Oh my God, Austin, that story hurts my soul, man. You know, this is I'm telling you, this is important. Figure that like take a year, but just every time you're in a mall or something like that, go stop in the glasses shop and just try on a few, and one day it's gonna be there waiting for you, and that'll be the one. It'll be over.
I think that's good advice. I'll check out the glasses next time around them. And I do feel that way. I wish I had more variety. I got two of the same pair because like they had a terrible selection. It's just how the cookie crumbled that day, and it
Hope you
kind of
know that
like
you're really hurting the gay stereotypes out there, man. Where's the fashion sense? Where's the sense of style, man? That's all we got. That's the one positive stereotype, dude. Come on, you gotta have just a little tinge, to keep you going. You know what I'm saying?
well, I think Chase would really appreciate this. I was at Walmart one day, and I was looking for clothing for work, and they were having a clearance on gray shirts with pockets in the front, and I grabbed like you know 8 or so, and I was so happy, dude. They were like $2 a piece, and I love those gray shirts, man. It's like it fits my
Oh,
personality
we've
so
learned.
well.
What
Your
these are
grandfather.
flannel?
This is
What
the
are these?
grandfather DNA, man. The overalls. He's got the same thing. It's just got a modern adaptation.
What
Same.
the the one thing I miss about Alabama is having like the flannel just in the winter or fall where you get like the little flannel. That was fantastic. Just everybody had one, it was great. I miss that.
No, Chase, they're not flannel. They're gray, so they're very generic. They don't draw attention to you, and they have a front pocket, so they're very practical. And I like to think I'm a
Who
very
puts? Wait, what do you have? Do you have something in your front pocket? What do you have in a front pocket?
no, Dean. That's not the point. And I have gone outside at night, and you know what? I didn't. I had to do something with my hands, and I had to. Dude, it worked great.
All right, all
That's
right.
me,
I'll give you
Dean. If you want to sum up my personality, think of a plain gray T-shirt
a
with a
shirt.
pocket.
There's one word thing of your personality and your
Oof.
fucking presence. It's forgettable. Forgettable.
That's a that's called a defense mechanism, Chase. I don't
That
want it
is
to be forgotten.
tactical 100%. It's just like, do you remember this man at the scene of the crime? No. No, I'm gonna forget him as soon as I leave the courtroom, as a matter of fact.
That
I'll give
uh,
Unremarkable.
that
Listen,
CIA
Austin.
guy with the poofy hair. That's how they. pick CIA agents. They go, where out of this 100 people, who would you forget the quickest? He's like, oh, that guy. That's me.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Chase, I was listening to an old podcast. We were talking about Mr. In Between or whatever.
Sure.
The in between, you know what? And
Best
we're
show I've
talking
ever
about
seen.
that.
Great show.
He's got just a face. He never wears a mask because his face just blends in. It just
It's forgettable.
blends every
It's
time.
just
It's
yeah,
forgettable.
it's
Forgettable.
forgettable.
You
It's the
know?
perfect
Yeah.
hitman. You don't even think twice. It's some bald guy, maybe. I forgot.
Austin, just tell me this: is there an occasion where you will dress to the nines, so to speak? Yeah, where you just for the special occasion add a little flair. Yeah, something like
Uh,
that.
Christmas,
the answer to that is no.
Easter
Actually,
Sunday.
no. Christmas. I was at the mall the other day with Edwin, having a wonderful time. It's like kind of a rarity. You go to the mall and look at all this expensive crap that you don't need. And I saw like a really expensive sweater. It was a beautiful Christmas sweater with like a teddy bear on it. And I was like, I could see myself wearing that. I kind of like the fun stuff. I don't want to look too serious. I don't think that fits me. I think I'm a fun guy.
You're looking at a Christmas sweater in September with a teddy bear on, and that's what this
It
is your
might not have
fashion.
been.
It's pretty gay.
Huh. Yeah, that is pretty gay. Yeah. Okay, it's gay. I'll give you that. You know.
You know what? I think I do have gay features because I like stuff like that. I have a shirt that has Woodstock on it. That
Is that
The
the
bird.
bird.
Bird's cool.
That's pretty. That's pretty.
Woodstock? Oh, yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
Yeah,
likes
yeah,
Woodstock.
the bird. I thought you guys
How
probably seen it. But
how tight are your shirts? Are they loose fitting or are you showing off a little? Yeah,
I like a little bit tight, like
a little tight.
5%.
Yeah,
Tighter
yeah,
than.
yeah. Okay, okay. So you got like 5% gay. I think
I'm
that's
a
what we're
gray
saying.
man. I'm in the middle in every
Great.
fashion.
All right,
It's
I
a good
learned something
place
today.
to be the gray man. Yes.
And when I do finally carry out that assassination, it's all gonna be worth it. They're gonna be who shot the shot? I don't know. I don't know. Some
Again,
guy in a gray
everybody,
shirt.
the Charlie Kirk killer, Austin's long lost twin. He's got the hat too, and the glass, and the gray shirts. Oh my God, it's all coming together, man. There's a real connection here, you know. But Austin, I believe you're going to show us the way. That instead of assassinating a political figure, you're going to assassinate the drudgery of modern life and bring
You
people
know
into the
what?
spiritual.
That's beautiful. And that's what that guy should have done. Instead of killing a political figure, he should have
Yep.
assassinated the drudgery of everyday life. And that would have been much preferable. Even though I didn't like Charlie like a lot, he should have done that instead of that other thing. So I agree.
And
I'll tell you,
wisdom.
on Charlie Kirk could have cared less, but when I saw him throw a football, it's like it hit me. I was like, we lost a good one. Like people can't throw
Yeah.
a ball like that, and it just that's where I'm at.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the American voter right there. That is what the policy. I saw him throw a football.
You know what Kamala could have done to win presidency when they're like, "Hey, you slept your way to the top in California with that governor." She's like, "Goddamn right, I did."
Yep.
That's what a woman's
That's
got
what
to
I'm
do.
willing to do.
I would have
That's what I'm
voted. I would have. I'm voting for this bitch. I'm
Yep.
the head of her fan club. Like I'm voting
Yep.
for her. That's all it would have taken. That's it.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
That's
All
what
right,
we need,
guys.
dude.
Should we stop there?
Yes, before we get into politics, dude. Hey, God knows where that could lead us. But
Absolutely. We got to wait for Bobby to go into the politics. You know, that's
oh
important right
yeah,
there.
he's
Yeah.
always he
He loves
loves
the
politics.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to the Divine Brothers podcast. We will see you next time. Bye bye.